Hello everybody, welcome to the first episode of A Pilot's Life with the new A Pilot's Life Chapter 2 that just released this last weekend. And you have to kind of start over. You can carry on your logbook from previous time, but all that does is give you some extra money to purchase aircraft licenses, basically your ability to be type rated for different aircraft. So since we're having to start over kind of as a poo pilot, that's how that emoji got started on this channel, I've gone ahead and selected one of the airlines that had been available to me was Endeavor, and that's who we're going to be flying with, and we've got a schedule. We're going to be flying out of LaGuardia as our hub for the first set of routes. So our flight takes us today to Cincinnati, and we are flight Endeavor 4635 on a CRJ 700, flying the Aerosoft CRJ and Microsoft Flight Simulator. It is a cold and dreary and overcasty and IFR conditions field here early in the morning. It's about 6:30 local time here in LaGuardia, and the sun is kind of burning through the fog layer there. But the field is definitely an IFR. The current METAR reads 100 winds are 140 at 6. It's 6 mile visibility with a light drizzle and overcast at 800, so that's why it's IFR. There's the ceiling is too low for VFR there. Temperature 11, dew point 8, and altimeter 3011. So we're going to get out of the muck and head over to Cincinnati, and I'm going to try to just make these videos as non-streams, and we'll see if they're fun. So let's get started. So if we hop over here, if I'm clicked on the thing, there we go. Hop into the flight deck here. We're going to start by opening some things up on the aircraft. We need to open the door and open our baggage compartments. And I'm going to go ahead and activate the ground power unit. This is always a little bit of a joke in Microsoft Flight Simulator because this guy comes in and tries to align this thing to some position on the aircraft, and it takes him like 30 tries. You ever thought you were bad at parallel parking? Well, this guy cannot back up and plant to save his life. This is like a 30-point turn this guy's going to do over and over again. You think you get it right? Like he's like, oh, God, I'm there. I'm going to stop. Is he going to run into my aircraft? Almost. He's like, oh, no, that wasn't good enough. Let me try again. Let me come a different route. It's like, what in the heck? It's the goofiest thing. I don't understand. Anyway, while he is desperately attempting to try and hook up the ground cart, yeah, whatever. I'm going to go ahead and lower the rails because we're going to connect this jetway here, or at least we're going to try. So we go to aircraft, we go jetway. Hey, it's going to work. Fantastic. So that's going to come on over. We can kill that now, and we'll get that plugged up here in just a moment. Let's see if you figured yourself out yet. Nope, he's still teetering around here with this thing. Are you done? I think he's done. Finally. Good Lord. Okay. All right, so to start this this bad boy up, I'm going to go into a different view here where I'm a little backed up. And we're going to start by, well, actually, before we do anything else, we're going to check and make sure our flaps are in the up position, our spoilers are down, throttle's idle, and fuel's cut off, windshield wipers aren't activated. We don't want anything just jump into life when we turn power on the aircraft, so we're good there. We're going to go ahead and turn on the battery power.
Disagree.
We're going to solve that gear disagree by just flexing the handle for a second. I don't understand why it does that, but every time. All right, so we do that, and we have ground power available right there, so we're going to go ahead and avail ourselves of that. And that's going to start ticking things on here. And while that's happening, I'm going to go ahead and turn up some lights because it is a little dim in here. That's the dome light. Oops. There we go. And there's the compass light. We'll come down to the main panel here and turn on the integrated lighting, or the background lighting, as you might want to call it. This is the flood. We'll do the same thing over here on the captain's side. A little bit of flood. And we'll come over to the FOs. And we'll do the same thing on his. I wish there was a way to sync these, the captain's and the FO sides up in this aircraft, but I don't believe there is. At least I've never found it, so that's okay. Nose wheel steering is disarmed. That's good because we're going to want that disarmed for the push. And at this point, let's see here. Let's make sure our nav lights are on, and that's going to be the main thing at the moment. Oh, and we want the emergency lights to arm. This is always a misnomer. All of this guy is up, this guy is down. That's how I remember it, but it's a little funny sometimes. Also going to go ahead and turn on the windshield heats to low. Get those windshields warming up. Move this out of our way. I'm going to move that guy out of the way too, just because. And we're going to set the alignment to nav. And we're going to come down here and tell it where we are. Going to check our database real quick. 21 April to 9th of May, or to 19th of May rather, and today is May 3rd at the time of recording this video. So we are in the current database. That's good. Position in it. We are in LaGuardia, KLGA. I'm going to do that right there, and we're going to take our FMS position and stick it right there. And at this point, we are all set to start the boarding process. So to do that, we need to do a few things first. We need to set our weight and balance, which is over here under performance. And I'm going to look at the flight plan here. We have 60 passengers on board today. So I'm going to put 60 in there. And then as far as cargo goes, which is I've changed this in Simbrief, so it's giving me the actual baggage amount now, which is nice. So the cargo actually is showing, it's separated from the passenger weight. Which for some aircraft I recommend doing that. For some aircraft like the 727 you don't really want to do that because of how the load works, but this one it works for that. Cargo is 2,800 pounds, and that's probably in a plane like this that's really all it's going to be is bags, because you're not really hauling extra cargo. It's just not a big enough airplane to do it. So 2,800. My method for this is I'll usually stick about the lion's share in the back. So we'll do we'll do 2,000 of that in the back, and I'll put 800 in the front, because you can kind of see the ratio here, and I'm just kind of eyeballing it. So we do that. And you notice we're keeping our center of gravity still nicely between the sticks, so we're good. We're going to look at our fuel needed for today, and that's 11,539. So I'm just going to delete that, 11,539, and we enter. And again, we're not quite up to max takeoff, but we're solidly in the upper box, and that's good. That's fine. Max landing weight is 67,000 pounds. We're sitting at a takeoff weight of 71,188. Excuse me, 188, and according to the flight plan, our landing weight should be 64,358. So that should be around 3,000 pounds under our max landing weight, so that is good. Ramp weight right now is 71,188. That's what we're showing there. That says takeoff weight. That's our actual takeoff weight is estimated to be about 70,688 after we burn some taxi fuel. We've got 500 pounds of fuel set for taxi. Takeoff trim is going to be 7. We'll just make a note of that in our documents here. We'll set that later. And we're going to go ahead and set our V-speeds. We're going to use flaps 8. The runway conditions are essentially dry. Drizzle, I'm not going to call that wet, so we'll call it dry. You know what? Let's be on the safe side. We'll call it wet. Set all. So our V1 127, our VR 128, and our V2 138. And we won't worry about landing speeds right now, so we're good there. We do want to set the payload in the simulator. We do that by clicking once, clicking twice. You notice how the thing goes up and down? Now it's set. So payload's set. I do want to make sure. Yeah, see, all that changed when I did that. Okay, so yeah, do that before you do the speeds here. Okay, so it's 134, 134, 143 is actually our takeoff speeds there. 143 being the magic V2 number. And so we'll go back to this page now. And our V-speeds are all right there, so that's already done for us. Let's go ahead and start the boarding process, and for that we go to PACX. And let me get that fired up. Let's see if that's booting. Yes, it is. Nope, don't do that right now. So here is a PACX, or PACX, fly with career mode. We're going to start a new career. With Endeavor, because we haven't done this before. So pilot name is Mustafa. Airline name is Endeavor. and the airline code is EDV. Ticket price, we're going to call it low because it's a what do you call it? Regional carrier. Service quality, yeah, we'll call it average. Reputation, we're mainly for economy. Restrict aircraft by rank. No, we're not going to do that, and we're not doing that either. So, because I don't want it telling me what we're doing. So we're going to save that, and we're going to close that now. And now we can go start flight, and we're going to fly with career mode. We can choose Endeavor, and we'll go next. And it pulls our information in. We do have 60 people on board. That is all correct. 32,000 feet. Next page. We're not serving meals. We're just going to do drinks and snacks. No IFE or Wi-Fi. Actually, no. Well, it's regional jet. Or fancy regional jet. We'll have Wi-Fi. Make the people happy. We'll start that. And they're going to start boarding. So you notice we've got a expected departure timer now. We can actually see our people coming on board and boarding the aircraft, which is kind of cool. And you can do all kinds of things, checking them out and seeing what they're all about. But we don't need to worry about that. So I'm just going to move this off screen. They're going to board in the background. And while they're boarding, we are going to do our flight preparation. So I'm going to come down, actually, yeah, I'm going to come down here. Let's do this first. We're going to go to flight plan, KLGA, and our destination is KCVG for this one. Our alternate, I think, is it Detroit? Where's my alternate at? Yes, Detroit Metro is our alternate today. KDTW. And we have some fun weather en route too, so I think we're going to be above it for the most part, but it's good to know about it. Alright, so next we got to do our departure and arrival, so we're going to look at this, and we need to know our runway. There's no ATC on at the moment. We are on VATSIM, but we don't have any ATC. According to the METAR, the winds are favoring runway 13, so we're going to plan that, runway 13. And we're not really doing a depart. It's actually the LaGuardia, what is it called? The LaGuardia 7. And it just basically is a climb procedure. So it's not something that we set in here. It's a climb procedure followed by radar vectors. So we're going to vector ourselves. So we actually don't do anything but runway 13. We're just going to say execute that. And we're going to go back to our flight plan here. And next page. And then we're going to put in our first waypoint, which in our case... Oh, we got our flight attendant coming on now. Our first our first point is Park, P-A-R-K-E. So P-A-R-K-E, we're going to put that right there. And then we have a jetway, a J route, J6.
Please double check that all your items are put away so that the aisle is clear and other passengers can make their way.
We put that in the VIA, and then we're going to Colnes, C-O-L-N-S, C-O-L-N-S, and we have the Gavin 6 in the CVG. So we're going to go back, we're going to execute those just so they stay there. And we're going to go back to departure arrival, and we're arrival, Gavin 6, Colnes transition, and then I was looking at the weather for CVG, and I think they are going to be landing north. I'm actually going to look at FlightAware and see what they're doing. KCVG. This is always a good tell. Just let them, let it be known. Yes, they're landing north, which means, what is it, 3-5 or 3-6 right?
We're on your time now.
Oh, don't get snippy with me. All right. Let's see. Next page. Yeah, 3-6. 3-6 right is what we're wanting. And I'm not going to leave. I've looked at the chart before for this, and we're not going to do FLM, so we're just going to leave it. And we're going to say execute. We're going to go to the legs page, and we're looking down here. And we do have this little repeat discon at the beginning of the star, at the beginning of the stars. So we're going to select columns and replace the other columns, and that'll get rid of the discontinuity and the double waypoint. So always want to go through your flight plan and make sure you don't have anything like that. That'll screw you up. This one's okay because it's vectors, and in the off chance we have ATC by the time we get there, I don't want to have deleted that. We'll delete that when we get closer, when we know we're on our own. And there's also some waypoints here that it puts in. Oh, maybe it didn't do it this time. Oh, it did it right this time. Last time it added the other waypoints. This time it didn't. Sometimes it'll add the waypoints that keep going even though you're supposed to break off of the star for the different runway. And so, again, you want to leave those because we're assuming a certain runway configuration, but if ATC comes on, they may change their mind. So once we're good, we hit execute. That execute button goes away. We're good. We'll hit flight plan again just so we can get to this page and hit perf init. And we can set in our details. So here we have our passenger count. We need to say 60. Our cargo, again, we can put in here 2,800. And again, you can always just bypass this and put in the zero fuel weight. If you know these numbers and you know they can easily, then it's kind of more fun to do that way and more realistic. Cruise altitude today is 32,000 feet.
15 mile final ILS, runway 04. About 2 miles from Apple, Guardia.
All right, so someone's landing 04. All right, fuel is going to be 11,539. 11,539, 7118, that matches. So we execute that. VNAV setup, nothing really to change here. Transition altitude is that. 250 below 10,000, that's fine. So we're good. We'll just go back to our legs page. And then one more thing I like to do is come down to the MFD menu and turn on the VNAV. That doesn't turn on VNAV so much as it is like a heads up about where your top of descent is. Assisted VNAV. There's no coupled VNAV in this aircraft. I think there's a way you can turn it on, which is unrealistic, and so I leave it off because that's lame. So then we'll go back to legs. All right, they said we're on their time now, so let's go ahead and get the APU started. So we're going to click the APU door. You're not going to see anything happen here, but you will get a little notification down here. The door's open. There it is. And then we can click on the APU button, and it will start to power up the APU. While we're waiting for the APU, let's go ahead and plan our pushback. So we can do that now, just to not waste any time, since it wants us to get out of here. Loading up. This is the pushback tool that's available on flightsim.to. It's very nice. And now you can pre-plan. You couldn't do it before. Now you can. We just do that, hit enter, and now it is all pre-planned, and we can come back to that a little bit later. We'll also set our Barrow, which was 3011, if I recall correctly. I'm going to double check that. 3011, yes, I was. I love when I'm right. 3011. There we go. And technically, we need to do that on this side too. Although it really doesn't matter since I don't have an FO, but for the sake of congruity, let's do it. We'll also kill those. We can also test the stick shaker right there and the EGPWS. We should do that as well.
Pull up.
We're going to be using a squawk of 2,000 because we don't have any ATC today. Let's go ahead and I'm not going to turn it on quite yet.
Sync rate.
We're going to wait on that until the APU is up. All right, green light on the APU.
Don't sink.
So we can go ahead and turn off the external power. It's still going to be green, but that's okay.
Too low.
Turn on the air and the research.
Too low. Terrain.
Get that moving.
Bank
Get
angle.
some air for the cabin.
Angle.
Minimums 1,000.
This is no smoking sign. And I'm going to turn on the note seatbelt sign here in just a second.
200. 100. 50.
Close the baggage doors.
1993, we're about 15 miles out.
And verify the parking brake is set.
Wind shear. Wind shear.
Well, you stop.
Wind shear.
Right, closed.
Too low.
And
Terrain.
close the door.
Caution. Terrain. Caution. Terrain.
Remove the chocks.
Terrain. Terrain. Pull up.
And pull the jetway away.
Caution. Obstacle. Caution. Obstacle.
Maybe.
Obstacle. Obstacle.
Pull up.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard
Okay,
flight
we'll go ahead and turn on the
4635
seatbelt sign
with
now.
service to Kentucky. Our flight time will be
passengers.
roughly 1 hour and 38 minutes. Please note the cabin door is now closed. We ask that you make sure that all devices are in airplane mode
And
your
we're gonna
larger
set
devices are now shut down and stowed.
on the,
If you have not already, please fasten your seatbelt and verify it is low
On the
and tight
departure, we have a
as
5,000 foot top of climb on the departure procedure, so we're going to set that.
Guardia traffic, American 1722, 4 mile final ILS, 04. Look, what?
Oh, wow. Oh, it's always a character. Alright, so this is, I'm going to, let's see here. I gotta make sure I get this right, first of all, because this is always going to be fun. Tablet. I think it might just be this. No, it is not. Let's see, which one is it? There it is. Okay, here we go. Alright, so here is the, this is the Guardia 7 departure. And we're going to be taking the, let's turn that guy off. We're going to be taking runway 13, and we're doing this MSFS climb to get over here because we're going to go this way. This is our, there's park over there. So what it requires, we come down here and check the chart here, 13, we can see MSFS climb, turbojets only, which we are, climbing right turn heading 180, at 4.1 LaGuardia DME, turn right heading 340, maintain 5,000, cross LaGuardia 220 at or above 5,000. So the 5,000 again is only if we've got air traffic control. Since we don't, we're going to have to vector ourselves. So we just want to make sure we cross this 220 at or above 5,000, and we'll just keep climbing if we don't have any ATC at that point. And and then after we pass the 220, we can do direct park. So anytime after the 220, we'll do direct park. So what we're going to do is to set this up, I'm going to come down here and go to nav radio. Oops, let me get the tab off the screen. Go to radio, and we want to set this to LaGuardia VOR, which is 113.1, which it already is, so that's perfect. I'm going to go to manual just so it doesn't detune it on me. And with that set there, we can change the course here. I want this to be 220. Which we're not in the right nav source. Oops, there we go. 220.
LaGuardia traffic, American 1893, 7 mile final, runway 4, LaGuardia.
Oh, by the way. So, number of people coming out of LaGuardia, and they're all coming on 4 for some reason. I don't know why, but based on the winds, but whatever. Yeah, 140 at 6. I mean, it's 140 at 6, so it's fairly calm, but whatever. 220. Okay. So 220 is set there, so we'll know when we cross the radial. We're also going to set our heading to be 180 initially. And then we're going to be looking for 4.1 DME to turn to 340. So it's a little bit of a complicated departure, but it's not bad. It's not bad. Okay, go away. That's not what I wanted.
Guardia traffic, 1722, clear.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get ready for push. The beacon's going to come on. We're going to go ahead and set these guys here, and we're going to turn on the transponder right there, and we're going to call for Mr. Push.
Cockpit to ground.
This is ground. Stand by.
Alright, they're pulling the ground power away. Perfect. We disconnected that already. We're on the APU, so we're good there. Let's go back to the legs page. And I'm going to sync this, or shrink this down rather. Whoops, no, not that.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed.
The parking brakes are set. You may lift.
Parking brake set. Lifting the aircraft.
We are cleared for start and push.
Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
Alright, here we go. Brakes released.
Parking brakes are released.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
It will start in the sequence.
Okay, so we're good for engine start. We need to turn on the fuel boost pumps, and we're going to select engine number 2 to start.
Ladies and gentlemen, please
And we're going
direct
to watch
your
for that.
attention
I really,
to
what I'm going to do,
flight
these are FADEC controlled, so I wait till it's above around 13 to
You will notice a light
15%,
illuminated
and then
above
go
your
ahead and put it on,
When this
and
light
then
is
it will add
illuminated,
fuel
please
as it
fasten
needs
your
to.
seatbelt low and tight across your lap.
And, oh,
To
that's
fasten,
already
insert the
beyond
metal
that.
fittings into one another and tighten by pulling on the loose end of the strap. To release the seatbelt, lift the
Oh
upper
my
portion
gosh,
of the
what the
buckle.
crap.
This is suggest that you keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the flight as we may experience unexpected
Look
turbulence.
at sneeze
There are
in
several emergency exits on
the
this aircraft.
flight deck. That was
To familiarize
terrifying.
yourself with the emergency exits on this aircraft, please refer to the safety card in the seat back pocket in front of you. In some cases, your nearest exit might be behind you. If we need to evacuate the aircraft, there is lighting on the floor to guide you towards the exit.
Okay,
In the
pushback
event that the
completed.
cabin moves
Please set your
pressure,
parking
an
brake.
oxygen mask will drop right in front of you. Start the flow of oxygen, pull the
Parking
mask
brake
towards
set.
you. Place it firmly over
Parking
your
brake
nose
set.
and mask,
Lowering
and
aircraft.
stand behind your head. Tighten the strap if necessary.
So we got a good start on engine number 2.
We may disconnect.
Starting
Okay,
number
sir.
1.
Clear to disconnect. Pin has been removed. See you at the side. Have a good flight.
Holding position waiting for
LaGuardia
vision.
traffic,
Thank you and goodbye.
American. 1893 is clear of runway 4 on Quebec, and we'll be taking Papa to the ramp.
When instructed to do
LaGuardia.
so, open the plastic pouch and remove the vest. Slip it over your head. Wrap the straps around your waist and buckle at the front. Pull the strap to tight. To inflate the vest, pull firmly on the red cord.
I was about to ask myself if we were on 122.8, but we clearly are. I'm listening to that
Pull into
nonsense.
the mouthpieces for manual inflation. Each vest is
Does this
equipped
have
with
the
a whistle
ability
and
for
light.
me
If
to
necessary, this
hear? Yes,
system
it
can be
does.
used
So
as
let me
a secondary
tune
flotation device. Please
this
securely
one.
stow your personal items. Make sure your seatbelts are fastened
To
and seat backs and tray tables are in
121.5.
their
In
full
case there's
upright
any
position.
meowing on
We
guard,
remind
we
you
want to be able to
this is a
hear that.
non-smoking flight. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying the smoke detectors located in the lavatories is prohibited by law. All of this information and more can be found in the safety card located in the seat back in front
Okay,
of you.
so we've got those engines started. Let's make sure all the hydraulics come online.
Thank you for flying with us again, and we hope you enjoy your flight.
And we can now turn off the APU. Let that power down. We're going to do flaps 8. Set those. We're going to arm the thrust reversers for takeoff in case we have to reject. And flight directors are on. We need to set our trim to 7. So trim is 7 now. And I think we're just, yep, that's everything else on the list there. Perfect. So we can go ahead and close the APU SOV. And we'll do a quick flight control check. Left, right, forward, backward, left, right. Good. Alright, arm our nose wheel steering there. Taxi light on. Oops. I don't know if that released the brakes or not. Nope, it did not. Alright, brakes released. Here we go. So why is this not... I'm hoping this is actually recording because I can't, doesn't look like it is at the moment. Although that says ground, so it sees me moving. It still says I'm in pre-flight stage though. I'm a little disconcerted about that. Oh, there's the drizzle. Interesting. So we're going to take Bravo to runway 13. So that's it. Well, Bravo, Papa, 13, yeah. LaGuardia traffic. Oops, dang it. LaGuardia traffic, Endeavor 4635 type CRJ, taxiing runway 13 via Bravo, Papa, LaGuardia. I don't see... Oh, there it says taxi out. Okay, good. We had to get to a certain taxi speed. And that might be to prevent it from thinking that you're taxiing when it's pushing. That's smart. So, okay. I can live with that. Good deal. Yep, it knows. It knows. The nose knows. Oops. All right. Got about 3.5 minutes to get to the runway before we're technically late as far as PACX is concerned. Not overly concerned with that though. So. APU door is showing closed now. That's good. 3011 on the altimeter. 5,000 set in the initial altitude. Again, upon takeoff, we're taking off runway heading, and shortly after takeoff, we're going to turn to 180. 4.1 DME from LaGuardia, we turn to 340. We cross the LaGuardia 220 radial at or above 5,000 feet, and then direct to park, provided no ATC comes on in the meantime. That's the plan. Departure has been reviewed. We'll see how this goes. It's going to be interesting when we get above the cloud layer here because it's morning, so it's going to be nice and clear and sunny. But it looks so dreary here in New York at the moment. Normally you'd be able to see over to downtown Manhattan. Can't see it. It's in the fog. Across the East River there. This aircraft doesn't have any auto throttle, so we're going to be relying on, it's kind of Airbusy for the beginning because we set it to toga and then we'll pull it back to a climb detent. And then once we reach our top of climb, which is 32,000 feet today, then we have to manage the thrust ourselves, which actually, it sounds more complicated, but it really isn't. You pull it back a little bit, you find where it kind of wants to settle, and it'll hold it pretty close. You have to keep an eye on it occasionally, but it just requires you to be a little bit more intentional with the aircraft, which is kind of cool. 727's the same way, doesn't have auto throttle. Just takes a little bit of getting used to. Alright, so we're transitioning to Papa here, and then we're going to have to cross a runway. And we're going to want to call and make sure they know we're crossing. I haven't heard anyone on final recently. Here it comes. So, LaGuardia traffic. Endeavor CRJ is going to be crossing runway 4 at Papa, LaGuardia. Write my number down. 4635. That's what. I keep looking over the V-Pilot window and it's covered up by Simbrief. Let's turn on the strobe as we cross the runway here. And we'll just leave it on now. You can look down there, we got nobody. LaGuardia traffic, Endeavor 4635, clear of runway 4. Lining up for takeoff. Runway 13, departure to the west, LaGuardia. See a bridge over there, some stuff in the distance. Go landing lights on. Turn the logo light on too. Why not? Why not? LaGuardia, traffic Endeavor 4635, Type Sierra J7, taking off runway 13, Mazbeth climb, departure to the west. LaGuardia. Whoops. Okay, here we go. There's Toga. Knots. There's V1. Rotate. Ooh, he jumps into the sky. Alright, that's positive rate. Gear up. We'll get above at least 400 feet here, and then we will hit heading. Going to hit speed. Alright, there's about 180 right there. Set climb power. We're starting to break out. We're watching that DME. We're about 2.5. Looking for 4.1. Then we'll head and turn to 340. Still no ATC, so we're going to go ahead and bug this up so it doesn't scream at us initially while we're trying to do everything else. There's 4.1. Alright, we'll start a turn, bug this around. 340. Drop the nose a little bit so we can accelerate. We're above 5,000, so we're good on that. Go flaps 1. And flaps up. Just looking across that radial now. Here it comes. And since we're crossing the radial, we're going to go direct to park. Execute. Set. Change the nav source. Set nav.
Now past 2000 feet and turn on larger portable electronic devices. This is also a reminder to keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the duration of the flight. Do not form a line near the lap board. This aircraft uses onboard Wi-Fi, you will be required to pay a small fee if you wish to access it. We do offer complimentary flight tickets thanks to our partners. Connect to the Wi-Fi and you'll be able to access our wide range of free live streaming and station live.
Alright, we're going to accelerate now. Up, now we're past 10,000 feet. We'll also go ahead and switch on the autopilot. We can turn off the reversers. And we're just making sure everything is running. We don't have any errors, any issues. Look at that. Look at that beautiful New York morning. You can't even see New York under the clouds, but it's down there. Beautiful morning flight off to Cincinnati. We're slowly accelerating up to 280, which we're going to use as our climb speed. Again, with this airplane, we just keep the throttles in climb. The airplane, it's not, speed is not a indicator of auto throttle. It basically just means that it's going to pitch the aircraft to maintain 280 at its current power setting. So the speed button becomes completely useless once we get to a level off altitude, which in our case is going to be 32,000 feet, flight level 320. And so there we go, we're on speed, we're climbing. And 15,000 feet, when we pass 18, we'll change to transition altitude. We'll turn this off. And let's see if I remember how to do this. There it is, yeah. The camera system in MSFS, Microsoft Flight Simulator, is still wanting, if you ask me, and there's some weird little quirks in how you have to get to certain views. It's not nearly as simple as just setting it to a key command. Like, you have to be in a certain view mode, and then to get back to the other view mode, you have to. It's kind of wonky, and I still don't completely understand it all the time. So there is rumor now that the devs are open to opening up the camera system. So maybe we'll get the likes of Chase Plane or something similar in the sim in the near future, and that would be amazing. That would absolutely be amazing because it's desperately needed. So that's 6. Is it 7? Is it? No, it's 5. There's the other built-in wing view. It's kind of cool. Your chance to pretend to be a passenger. And then to get back, I think we have to do that. Maybe, nope. That, and then that. See, it's all wonky. Like, I can't, there we go. You can't just, like, easily get back. Okay, we're above transition, so we need to set 29902. We'll do that the other side as well. Oops. Oh, it's nav source. They look the same. I hit the nav source in the barrel. By the way, if I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but if you have this aircraft, when you're going to hit this button, you have to right-click on it first and then left-click it. I don't know why, but it's like stuck in rotary mode and will not hit the center until you right-click on it, and then it's like it activates it for pushing the center in, which will set standard 2992. So I don't understand it, but that seems to work. So I've just gotten the habit now with this aircraft, but it's weird. It's weird, to say the least. It's weird. So, as part of a pilot's life, we get graded on a number of parameters in the flight, such as not over speeding the aircraft, not stalling the aircraft, not over banking the aircraft, certain lights and things in the proper positions for different phases of flight and what have you. So, some of that is a little wonky and is being tweaked by the developer, so I'm curious to see when we land at CVG anything. Like one of the goofy kind of things is the landing lights need to be off by 10,000 feet, which is, they're usually supposed to be on under 10,000 feet. So I would think you'd want it like off like after 10, but like before 12 or something. So it's kind of weird. And then they do need to be on before, by the time you reach 10,000 feet when you're descending. So it's kind of interesting. So I think I missed that mark just barely. Like it was just beyond 10,000 when I clicked them off. So we'll see if I get dinged for that. It's only like a point, so it's not a huge thing, but for those perfectionists out there, it can drive you nuts. They did have a setting on here I saw where it was set that you had to have your transponder set to something other than 1200 or 2000, which people rightly pointed out that, hey, on VATSIM, you probably just want to make sure the transponder is on, since when you're flying, I mean, 1200 makes sense because a pilot's life, you're not going to be flying VFR, you're flying, essentially, Part 121 style operations. But when there's no air traffic control, you're not going to have a discrete squawk code, and so the kind of default squawk code is 2000, so at least in the States. So I think he changed that. In fact, the thing updated right before I started the recording today, so I'm hoping that got changed, and so now it's just transponder on, which it is. We are in mode Charlie, so we should be good. All right, there's 27,000 feet. Making our way up to flight level 320. And I think flight time today, oops, as I turn things off, yeah, 1 hour 39 minutes is flight time, so I'm not sure yet how I'm going to do these, and so this is where you can kind of help and put in the comments and kind of say, hey, yeah, we'd like to see the whole thing, or you know what, once you do the exciting stuff of getting up to cruise, we don't need to see the cruise, and so you can time lapse it up to whatever. I mean, because today, for instance, because we don't have air traffic control, we're not really talking to anybody. It's just me talking to myself. I mean, and by extension you, but it's not a stream, so I'm not interacting with anybody. So they don't know that that's something you guys just want to see. Me try and come up with random stories to talk about in cruise when there's nothing really to do. But some people like to see the whole thing and just have it there. And if you want that, I'm willing to do it. It doesn't bother me. I just I don't want to make a video that's like super boring. Like, well, we got to cruise and I didn't do anything. I just sat there. Yeah, that's kind of reality. So we just passed 30,000 feet, and looks like we just reached. Is that Park? On the right screen. Yep, that's Park. So we just reached the end, the transition point of the SID, the Standard Instrument Departure. And now we're going to fly, we're flying on the J6 to, what's the end of the J6? Colmes. So our next waypoint you can see here is tow-in. We got tow-in gate. And then after that is Kane. But those are various points along the J6 route that we will exit at least at Colmes. And Colmes is also the beginning of the star. Into CVG. So what I want to do, so you can see we're doing Mach 0.77. I think I'd like to up that to about Mach 0.8 just to go faster. We don't pay for fuel here. So what I'm going to do is on the speed. Can I change this to? I don't think I can. Oh, there we go. Mach 0.8. So yeah, so I'm going to change it to Mach 0.8. It's not going to do anything differently here really, but I'm going to wait till we accelerate up to that, and then I'm going to pull the throttles back for the cruise. And once we get them stable, I'm going to show you the weather map that we're flying over right now. right there. So we go into manual. I'm pulling back a little bit here. I'm going to go into 1 just so I can see where they're landing. And the trick with this is just to kind of pull them back a little bit, and you're really watching that trend to see, does it look like it's going up? Does it look like it's going down? Is it holding right around where it should be? You can see it's holding pretty stable. So I mean, it looks like it's trending upward just ever so slightly. So I'm going to pull the throttles just a hair back. Not making major adjustments. And then we're just going to keep an eye on it, because we know even if it continues to move up or down, it's not moving up or down very quickly. So we're not really in danger of hitting that barber pole there and setting off the overspeed. And we're also not in serious danger of it just dropping down really fast and getting us into a stall condition. So if we come over and look at this is our route of flight with the weather map overlaid on it. Pull it up on the tablet here. Here we are right here, just passing Tow-in, or yeah, Tow-in. I was gonna say it can also be Town, I guess, but it'd be Tow-in. So I like Tow-in. You can see our path out of here on the Masbeth departure. Flew right over. Looks like right over kind of Upper Manhattan there, right over Central Park. And as we go down, but you can see all this weather here. Now you can tell just by looking out ahead of us, this weather is actually just below us. It's not really a danger to us. We're not going to fly through it so much. And even looking at the weather map, the significant weather map prior to the flight, you can see there was some warning over here of random embedded thunderstorms, but not over here. So that tells me this is all low-level surface stuff. And so I don't have to really worry about and be concerned about what's going to happen there. So, we are at our cruise altitude, so I'm going to go ahead and release the passengers from their seats. So we do that, we turn the seatbelt sign off. Right here, one of these. Where's the seatbelt sign? And that'll help them like me better. That has nothing to do with the pilot's life, but that's for PACX. One thing to, if you guys get the passenger add-on PACX, I would recommend setting your seatbelt activation to a keystroke somewhere or on your joystick or something. Some aircraft, and it will, like specifically with the TFDI 717 because they made that one, but even some other aircraft, activating the seatbelt sign in the plane will trigger the response in PACX, but most don't. And so you got to do it here just for your own, sense of immersion. But then you also need to trigger it in PACX. And the long way to do that is to go up here to this cabin announcement thing and say turn seatbelt sign. It would say off if it was on. It says turn it on because it's off right now. And then say okay, and it would do it. But you can set a short code key to that, and so it tells them they're serving drinks and snacks at the moment. They're very satisfied. You can see all the passengers in their seats, and someone in the restroom right now. So it's kind of cool. It's a cool little. Again, it adds a little bit of depth to your simulation. It will also trigger emergencies randomly, and you can set those to. I mean, you can set them so you don't have them, but. So, like, you could get a medical emergency, like passengers having a heart attack, and we got to land. PACX, not PACX, but Pilot's Life gives us the ability to divert if we need to. So we can simulate that, whether that's because of an engine failure or something. PACX will also sometimes generate a critical failure in the aircraft, not just passenger related. So you can end up with some interesting situations if you want to, and they're not very common. You can set them to be very common, or set them to be like kind of realistic, where you get a failure very, very rarely. Which, normally you're flying, a lot if this was your real job. So yeah, it's a cool kind of thing. Notice our power is staying right about where we set it, where we left it. Maybe it's dropping just a little bit, but that's probably going to go up and down a little bit. We're just going to keep an eye on it. In the meantime, we can go outside the aircraft and take advantage of the fact that it is a sim and enjoy Mother Nature. Look at that. Isn't that just cool? This Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm so glad we're now getting some really nice aircraft in the sim. The PMDG 737 is supposed to drop potentially this coming weekend. The Leonardo Mad Dog just dropped, and that is an amazing aircraft. The only reason I'm not flying it for a pilot's life is because technically I can't for the level of pilot I'm at, so I'm going to work my way up through the ranks in Endeavor and then get to an airline that can do the Mad Dog. But, and same thing with the 7.3. The BAE 146 dropped this last weekend as well. I have not picked that up yet. It looks good, but it looks like it's not quite finished. Like I was watching someone... Whoa, that was a wind shift. Holy crap. Let me get a ding for that. Dang. I was watching someone mess with it, and you're looking at the FMC, and it's like, oh yeah, this doesn't work in the FMC, but they're adding it, and this is supposed to be added, but this doesn't work yet. And I was like, oh, it kind of feels like they were like, you know what, let's rush this thing out because all the other ones are releasing, and we don't want to get left behind. So there's also an issue apparently with the transponder in that it works on VATSIM. I don't think it works on Pilot Edge right now, and you can't turn it off. Like whatever you do in the airplane, it doesn't react to. It's kind of interesting. So I'm just kind of waiting to watch some of those issues resolved. I'm not in a hurry to get it, mainly because I don't know that aircraft anyway. So, and with the Mad Dog out, 737 about to hit, there's no reason I need another one that I got to learn and try and divide my time. So, and with the Pilot's Life now, that's just out as well. So, reason to get back into that. So I figured, you know what? I'll wait on the BAE. I'm going to get it. No question about it. But I just don't feel the draw to get it. I didn't have the one that was an X-plane, so I'm not like itching for a bay, as everyone calls it. But that's cool. Let's venture off the aircraft there. You see these storm ridges. Look at that, just lifting up. A wall over there. That's cool. See through the ground in a few places, but still pretty good, solid coverage. And it looks like the storms. There's no signs of storms and precipitation stuff at Cincinnati at the moment, so I think we're free of that. So it should be fairly, I mean, it may be cloudy, but it should be, okay weather for the landing and everything. All right, you can see the speed has dropped below the bug a little bit, so we're going to go ahead and just inch the throttles forward a little bit. We'll see what that does. Again, you want to make your changes with that small and deliberate and kind of see what happens. You don't want to get into a situation, see, I brought it back actually pretty swiftly, so I'm actually going to back off the power a little bit from what I gave it. But you want to... you don't want to get a situation where it gets so low or so high that you're having to make abrupt rapid, because it's going to be really hard to kind of find that happy medium again of where that throttle wants to sit to be relatively stable. So you do yourself a favor by kind of getting that right early on and then just kind of maintaining it. Again, the name of the game in an airliner is you at this phase of the flight, you are a manager, but you are the manager. You need to make sure the systems are doing what they're doing. You need to be watching for traffic, although in our situation with, VATSIM being so light this time of night. And I really actually, oh gosh, is that still on? Sorry, I may have had that tablet on that whole time. My bad. Oh goodness. I'm actually not sure if I did or not. So if I did, I apologize. If I didn't, then I'm just crazy and you can ignore me. So we got 9,140 pounds of fuel. We took off with 11 such and such. So, and something to note, we can do some math here while we're doing this. Let me pull up my OFP here. So our gross weight on the ramp with all the fuel in it was 71,188. And I'm going to do a quick little calculation here. So 71,188 minus 67,000 means we have to burn 4,188 pounds of fuel to be below our maximum landing weight. So that means our fuel level needs to be below 7,351 to be below our max landing weight. So right now we're at 9,075. So we still got to lose another almost, not just a little less than another 2,000 pounds of fuel in our flight, which we've got plenty of time to burn it, so it shouldn't be a problem. But it's just good to know. So at a quick glance, you can go, yep, we're good to land. We're not going to overstress the aircraft. You can land heavy, but you're overstressing the aircraft, and technically they have to take the aircraft into maintenance and do inspections and all kinds of things. And that's like a for shame moment on the pilot. So just to do that. So I was going to make a note here of that fuel number 7351. We know we're good. We're almost down to 9,000 even now at the moment. So. Passengers are happy. Door is locked, so we're safe from them and their knitting needles. Check out the overhead of the CRJ. It's not very complicated, but hydraulics, lights, air conditioning. So I'm going to turn on the aft cargo air. It's not too much to do now at this point, especially without air traffic control to talk to either. So we're just really maintaining our speed, and then making sure our plane follows the course. I won't say magenta line, but in the CRJ it's a white line, so it's not even magenta. Not even magenta. So what we can do, though, is we can take a look at our arrival. It's never too early to kind of start contemplating. We actually start the arrival segment quite early. It's quite a long arrival segment now that I'm looking at it here, considering where we are already. So it actually warrants us doing this. So I'm going to pull that up on the tablet here in a second for you. It's the Gavin 6. And, alright, so here we come from Colnes here, and this part of the map is not to scale, so it's deceptively small, but if you look at it here, this green line is the star, and let's see if it's going to show us. We're here already, so we enter the star here, so we're already over halfway to the star, so I like to take that off just because I don't like to cheat. Alright, so Gavin 6. So starting at the Colnes, we come in and we head to the Henderson DME. And the reason I know it's a DME is because it's a box. Box means DME. It's not actually a VOR, so tracking it would be difficult. And this is an RNAV, so we don't need to be able to track it. From the Henderson DME, we come down here to Brush, and then back up toward Gavin. And at Gavin we have some restrictions, but they're not really. Notice it says expect. So turbojets expect, non-turbojets expect, so we can ignore this one because we're a turbojet. But the expect means it's not a hard altitude. It means that with ATC on, we can expect they will give us cross Gavin at 10,000. But they don't have to. But they probably will. And when I don't have ATC, I treat this as if it's a hard altitude because it's good for descent planning. So we're going to assume that Gavin is a 10,000 hard altitude since we don't have ATC. Landing north, east, and west, except radar vectors to final approach course prior to AJ. So AJ is right there. So between Kennedy and AJ, we would expect radar vectors. In our case, we'll just plan to break off ourselves. And based on where the 25-mile line kind of cuts this, it kind of makes sense to kind of just split the difference. So this is 30 miles. So I would say around 15 miles from AJ, we'd want to just start heading west to get ready to intercept the localizer off 3.6 right there. Because we are going to be landing north. If we were landing south, we would continue up and AJ, Bacchus, Ogre. And I don't think those were... Maybe they are in there. I need to go double check the FNC. We can take a look at the approach for runway 36 right. Looking at the ILS here. So coming, there's that Falmouth VOR. We're not going to deal with that though. This, let's see, this is 10, 20, 20. So yes, this is that ring. So if we come off here, we're pretty close. And we're going to go ahead and avoid Kiat and Sniper, or whatever that is. Probably end for Newly or Lopper. And even still, Troyf is the final approach fix. So yeah, probably Lapper is what I would do direct to. That's 11.3 DME from the end of the runway. You can see the ILS is 110.35, 006 for the heading, the course. And a missed approach is climbed to 1,500 feet, then a climbing right turn to 3,000 via the CVG 59-degree radial from the VOR to Moke's intersection, which is 29 DME from CVG and hold. So you see this little arrow, dashed arrow, that's the missed approach. So climb to 15, then a right turn to 3,000 via the 59-degree VOR. So we're going to turn and we're going to kind of intercept this 59-degree radial off of here, and then we go to Moke's as a hold. That's the entire procedure. Now what we would actually probably do is fly part of that and actually just loop around and go back into a downwind and make it our brush. Because we don't have ATC on, they're not going to be requiring us to follow a published mist. And there's not any traffic around here to warrant that, so. But it's good to know it in case, especially for events. I have had to go around in events, and oftentimes they'll say, fly the mist is published, and you got to know how to do it. You got to be ready. So our minimums, I think this aircraft, I don't think this aircraft's Cat 3. I think it's only Cat 2 at best. But I'm going to treat it as Cat, because we're going to be landing probably visually anyway, so I'm going to treat it as Cat 1 ILS. So our minimums are 200 feet, or 1,096 on the barrow. We'll get our weather here in a second for CVG just to confirm what we're doing. But then once we land, let's see, 36 right. This is the cargo apron. Terminals are up here. I think, I actually don't know where the regional jets park, whether they're concourse A or B. So we could find out. Sometimes the best way to do that. Let me do this. I'm going to put us back into the captain's seat here, so we can check on that. That looks good. And I am going to. Oh, we're at KCVG. Perfect. See if I can find an Endeavour flight that came in to here. There should be at some point, because these schedules are built off of real world. See what gate they park at. This did not help, and I really want to talk to someone that knows LaGuardia and find out what the heck, because I tried to do this at LaGuardia to figure out where Endeavour parked, and all the planes were coming in and going to gates that, according to the charts, do not exist. And the charts I'm looking at are current, so I don't know what the heck. It was very strange. So here's an Endeavour flight coming from Chicago to CVG. I'm just going to use this as an example. They're going to gate Bravo 27, so it looks like the Bravo gates. So we'll go to the Bravo gates. That makes that sense. So that's the first concourse. So we come off probably T6 at the earliest, and then Tango up to whatever this is. That's Juliet, that's Kilo. What is, I think it's just the ramps. We go in at spot 5. And into Bravo. Not too shabby. Cool. Alright, well let's take a look at the weather for Cincinnati. Kilo, Charlie, Victor, Charlie. Oh, whoops, no, not Kilo. I was like, Atlanta, Covington, what the crap is that? Kilo, Charlie, Victor, Golf. Let's get it right. There we go. So the winds are now 290 at 10, so we actually have more of a crossing. Actually almost want to land only 2.7, but I mean, it's only 10. I would still do it at 3.6. I think they probably would too. They'd probably take off 2.7, but yeah, I'm going to still plan 3.6. If it got worse than that, then I might change my mind. It is supposed to eventually go 250, 12 gusting 20. That's in the forecast, but we're not there yet, so we're going to plan 3.6. 10-mile visibility, few clouds, 4,700, so just a few clouds. Mostly clear. Temperature 16, 2.13, altimeter 29902. So they're at standard pressure. Makes that simple. Easy peasy. Alright, so what we do want to do is go in and edit our FMC to account for that 10,000 at Gavin, because it's not going to be in here because it doesn't see that as a hard altitude, it sees it as an expect. So if we come on our legs page here, we can go next page and see Gavin, and it thinks we're going to be at flight level 241 at Gavin. I don't want to be that high. And actually, yeah, AJ, Bacchus, Ogre. So we're going to take some of these out too. So we're just going to leave in AJ, and we're going to delete Ogre, and we're going to delete Bacchus. And then, yeah, Lapper. That's going to be perfect. So we're going to do our own direct when the time comes. So we got those out of there. We're going to execute that. And then that already might change. Well, now it says 3.2, so that's even worse. Gavin. Let's go ahead and do. I don't want to speed. Well, actually, we don't need a speeder check. There's no auto throttle, so it doesn't matter. So we're going to do /10,000 at Gavin. That did not work. No, don't execute. Oh, cancel mode. Huh. Why won't it let me edit that? There it goes. Alright, there we go. So now it's changed our estimated top of descent. And we're going to have to start our descent after that anyway on our own, because it doesn't have any way of knowing when we're going from here to here. And so we just have to kind of think for it. So we just have to know that ahead of time. But we should be able to see where we can start our descent. So I'm going to zoom this out and see if I can see our TOD. There's columns. And we're out quite a ways. Yeah, there's the TOD. And over here is the 10,000. So, yeah, so we got a ways. We got 160 miles or so until we hit our top descent. But we know where it's supposed to be now. So that accordingly. accordingly. Looking over here at a pilot's life, see if it gives me any hint as to how I'm doing. It says we're in cruise, so that's good. Flight time so far has been 38 minutes, and block time has been 44 minutes. So block time is the time when you release the parking brakes to start your taxi. Flight time is the amount of time since your wheels left the ground. And according to the SimBitWorld map, it looks like we're just crossing into West Virginia from the top of Virginia. Says our ETA is 5:52 Zulu. Now that's, you know, the real time in the world I'm flying, which is not what it is in the real world. Right now it thinks it's 11:54 Zulu. So 5:52, that should be that's about 30 minutes from now, it looks like, I believe. Got some wispy clouds up here at altitude now. Such a beautiful sim. I don't think there's like a really good way to do screenshots in this either, if I remember. I need to look it up. For those that have this on Steam, there's a way to do it through the Steam app, but I have it through just the Microsoft Store. I don't like having Steam having to run in the background in addition to other things. But look at that terrain, isn't that cool? Appalachia. We just passed. Oh, it is Colons. Okay, so we're officially on the star now. But like I said, the star is so long that we don't start descent anytime soon. You notice our speed has fluctuated a little bit here and there, but it's stayed relatively within that box. Haven't had to touch the throttle, so you see it's really not a problem not having auto throttle. You just gotta kind of keep an eye on it. It's not hard just to kind of find a place where the airplane wants to settle. And it's kind of the same with your car, you know, when if you drive any length and distance, when you're on the highway, you'll find that the car just kind of has a natural, you know, speed it feels good cruising at. You don't have to really add or whatever to hold it. It makes it really easy to do. Aircraft is a little similar. Now, obviously, abrupt weather changes will freak that out and stuff, but hopefully those are few and far between. Check our fuel status here. 78.75, so we're getting close. We only got to lose about another 500 pounds. And we'll be under our landing weight. So that's looking good. So this is estimating CVG in 41 minutes. Again, it's basing that off of our flight plan, and we have some discontinuities in there, so that's a little of a bit of a misnomer. And so it's saying 40 minutes SimBitWorld's saying 30 minutes. SimBitWorld's looking at it as a line of sight, though, so they're both wrong. So, you know, you average the two out, you get about 35. That's probably about right. Take this time to check in on our passengers, see how they're doing. And this is good too. Now this gives you this expected arrival is for the schedule time. So this is not like, oh man, this says things that doesn't think I'm going to be on the ground for another 51 minutes. No, this is when you better be on the ground by it. So this gives you some cushion intentionally because it's assuming you get reroutes in the air, you could have some weather you got to divert around. So airline schedules always are padded for that reason. And that's why they can always be like, oh, we can make up the time in the air. Well, you're just using the padding. But, so anyway, so that's our time. We need to be wheels down, I believe is where it records this at. I don't think this is his gate time, because I feel like this number stops when we actually touch down, so I'll confirm that. But they're 95% satisfied. That's pretty good. No one's really milling around. We got I guess we only have one flight attendant. She's doing her thing. Can't click on the flight attendant, so I guess they don't have names. There's no one in the restroom. You can click on random people and see. This is Alexander. Seriously? That's awesome. Oh, 5 years old. Traveling for leisure. I like that though. Seatbelt on when she's seated. That's smart. This person, not so much. Seated, no seatbelt. She's gonna die. She's 52. She's lived a long life, I guess. She's on business. She's got no time for seatbelts. A lot of these people are seatbelt off. So you can kind of go around, query the passengers, see who's on your plane. See if you went to high school with any of these people. Another 5-year-old. Seatbelt off. She's gonna die. They're doing okay in the back. That's good. That's good. All right, 4 miles to Stevie, and then that DME is the next one, 92 miles away. As you can see here, it tells us our first descent point. We have been sent to Gavin 10,000. And I don't know what this must be the distance to that point. Because our top of descent is before that. Yeah, I think that's what that means. Let's see if I can confirm that. Yeah, because that's 80 miles, and there's TOD. So yeah, that must be the distance to Gavin. Cold outside, 46 degrees below 0 centigrade. That's chilly. That is chilly. Although the temperature against the fuselage is only minus 16 because of the friction of the air going over it. This is the number that really matters for like fuel freezing, because obviously this would be a problem if it was actually this temperature in the fuel, because it would be starting to freeze. Oh, hello. You turned yourself on. How dare you? When you go out to other windows in your computer, this will randomly turn on this plane. It really is annoying. Oh, that's right. There's a sky cam. Oh, check out the door. And the other door. And that guy. That is Mathis, I believe. He's like the CEO of Aerosoft. That's cool. We can see this is so you can see if there's a someone tries to want to get in the cockpit, you can turn on the camera and go, "Oh, are you okay, or are you a terrorist?" Which, if the answer is that weird guy, then I think the answer is yes, terrorist. Don't open the door. Don't open the door. So if you're watching this video and you've never checked it out, I would urge you to come and check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Mustafa. I don't think it's /, it's backslash. I don't know, I can't visualize it in my head. It's the slash, whatever the internet slash is. Mustafa. The link is also in the description below, and you'll see that come up occasionally, probably on this video. Typically, I stream in the evenings on Thursday and Fridays, and then in the mornings on Saturdays. Occasionally streaming on Wednesdays, depending on what my real-world schedule is doing, so I don't have to sacrifice streaming. Occasionally I have to work on a Thursday, or work on a Friday, or a Saturday, and so I try to make that day up if I can. And lately I've been doing that a lot, so I've actually been streaming on Wednesdays quite a bit, but that's not the norm. Occasional Sunday evening stream as well. We do karaoke occasionally on Sunday evenings. It's quite fun. But come check it out. There's no, it's a better platform, in my opinion, for streaming, for building a community. I used to stream on YouTube, and it was fine. It was easy, and streaming on Twitch is easy too. But it just, for building kind of like a base community and knowing what someone's streaming, it feels more cohesive to me. So I enjoy it. I'm an affiliate over there, so people can subscribe and follow. So over there in the Twitch universe, subscribing is the equivalent of paying. So on YouTube, subscribe means you're following. You're just subscribing. I just want to know when they're streaming. The equivalent of that on Twitch is the follow. Follow doesn't require any commitment. It does require you to obviously be signed in with an account, because how are you gonna, how's it gonna know you're following? But you can't. I mean, there's no fee to have an account at Twitch. You set that up for free, just like you do a YouTube channel, a YouTube account. So there's really no hassle. And then you get, if you do subscribe, you get some access to some special Mustafa emojis that you can cheer in chat and on other channels as well. Who knows, you might even get gifted a sub. That happens quite a bit in various channels. We do sub giveaways almost every stream, so you always have a chance to enter to win a free gift sub to the Mustafa channel, or a sub of your choice if you're already a sub. And it's just a fun atmosphere. We stream, we fly planes, we chat, we talk about whatever's current in the flight sim world and other things, and it's a different experience to just watching a YouTube video. There's a place for that, for the YouTube videos, but there's no interaction, there's no back and forth. And I remember thinking it was really weird. Who would want to watch someone live stream something? But until you do it and you start interacting with chat and the other people in chat and the streamer, it's really cool. It's really fun. And you actually build a sense of community with people that you've never actually met in person. That's the great thing about the internet, is you can build a community without having to, be local to wherever that is. So it's a cool age we live in. Take advantage of it. But anyway, I'd urge you to check it out. Come by, see what the Twitch scene is all about. I don't generally post the streams to YouTube just because they have the different feel. They're not meant to be consumed as a video like this is. They're not meant to be polished up, and there's meant to be interaction. And if you're not able to interact, I find myself, whenever I watch a live stream recording, I'm like, oh, I want to chat in here and get, but I'm like, oh no, it's a recorded video now. It's past. It's over. I can't do that. So anyway, come check it out sometime. It's cool. That's where my first priority is Twitch. So these videos are kind of a fun secondary way to kind of get some more content out there, and I'm trying to get better at being more frequent with it. The problem is it feels like every time I like go, okay, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna start doing this, and then life comes and goes, oh yeah, now you're gonna get super busy with stuff that you weren't doing before, and it's like, the joys of, you know, having to have a real job, and streaming is just a side hustle. But it's all good. And you think trying to come up with content to talk to chat with is difficult. Kind of have to talk to things about to yourself without any response or feedback back. It's so much harder. So much harder. Clouds are starting to break up a little bit. It should be smack dab over West Virginia at the moment. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country road. Say, oh, it does right there. Can't really see it, but right there is the Endeavor logo. So you might see these come out. I mean, when you're viewing this for the first time, it's, you know, I'm talking about how Pilot's Life just came out and the Mad Dog just came out, but I'm probably going to sit on these videos for a little bit so I can build up a little bit of a library of them and then release them with some consistency on YouTube. So it's very possible this will be this is, you know, it's May 3rd right now at the time of filming, but this may not debut till like the end of May or something. And that's the only reason why, just so that way I can kind of have a stock of them. I'm trying to schedule against my busyness, so that way if I do have a you know, a busy streak where I get stuck, the videos don't technically stop because I had a few of them waiting to go just at the right time. So I'm trying to be smarter about it. Trying. Alright, so there is our top of descent right after J-Kate? J-Kate? Or Jack B? What is that, a B? Or? It's gotta be a B. What is that thing? Yeah, it's a B. Jake B. So into descend, what we'll do is we'll simply put this thing into a vertical speed mode and pull the power back and let it go down, and we'll just kind of watch our speed. Technically, we could hit the speed mode and have it try and hold it, but it's not the most ideal way to do it. It's just easier to do a vertical speed. Use the pitch mode for the climb, not for the descent. Alright, so we're turning at the DME. That's the Henderson DME there. And we got 20 miles to Jacob. JKB. I don't know how to say that. Are we doing the... Yeah, TOD's right after Jacob. Got a bit of a headwind. You can see we're doing a true airspeed of 471. 470, we're doing a ground speed of 439. So at least we're in the 400s. It's always depressing when you're going so slow, you're not even doing 400 knots because of headwinds. That's not too bad. We got a about 30 knot headwind, and that bears that out. 470 to 440, 264, 31, 30. It's kind of back and forth. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Let's also do this. I actually should have done this earlier and come down to radio and put this back to auto, because it will auto-tune then your VORs. And it'll help use that for kind of confirming and updating and keeping better your FMC position. I think we're definitely below our... Oh yeah, so 6,700 pounds of fuel now. We're definitely below landing weight. So that much is taken care of. Don't worry about that. What was our reserves? 3756. Still got plenty of fuel to make it to our alternate if we needed to. I don't think there's any reason why we're going to need to. But you never know. Alright, coming up on Jake, and as we pass Jake, I'm going to start the descent process. I don't want to wait too long, because I also know we're going to need to slow up to 250 when we hit 10,000 as well. So we're going to have to... So there we go. We just passed it. So what we're going to do, we're going to go over here to our... I'm going to click vertical speed. Change this. Vertical speed again. I should have done that first. And then we're going to zip this down to about 2,000 feet a minute. And at the same time, we're going to pull our throttles back. I'm not going to pull it all the way back to idle, because I think it'll start slowing us down too much. Let's bring this all the way down to 10,000. And we'll bring in the throttle as it starts to go below the tick. I want to keep our speed up, because I don't want to descend so fast that we hit 10,000 way early and then we're burning more fuel down there. Gotta find the happy medium. Remember, you burn more fuel at lower altitude because the air is denser. And so to have the same air to fuel ratio in the engine, you gotta put more fuel in. So one of the reasons why jets fly as high as they can, because they can be more fuel efficient at higher altitudes. If we had AGC, we'd be telling them at this point that we're starting our descent. Of course, they would also clear us for our descent as well, or they might tell us descend at pilot's discretion to cross Gavin at 10,000. But unless they give you a direct, like, hey, descend now, you want to tell them, okay, we're starting our descent. But only if they've cleared you pilot discretion. Now, if you pass your top of descent, or you're coming up on your top of descent, you can call them and say, hey, we're approaching our top of descent, can we get lower? And they might say, yeah, go ahead. Or they might say, nope, we're going to hold you for a little while, and then when you can't make your crossing restrictions, then that's on them. least you tried. So I'll probably put the seatbelt sign on around a little after 18,000 feet once we pass below transition. Since we started our ascent, let's go ahead and check the weather again at Cincinnati and make sure there hasn't been an update on the ATIS. It's still 29902, still wind 290 at 10 mile viz, few clouds 4,700. So yeah, it's all as it was when we checked earlier, so we're going to stick with our plan. 35 right. Come over here and turn this guy on and get our landing speeds under performance. Just go to set all. We can see our VREF is 136 knots. And so it will set that for us. And with that, we can turn that back off. That chart also tells you, by the way, that you're below you're in the landing OK box. So, which is a little unrealistic in the sense that it wouldn't chart that for you. You'd have to figure that out on tables. So, again, I like to do the math and just figure out, hey, are we below our weight? We are? Good. Passengers still doing okay. It says we have 30 minutes for our landing in Cincinnati there. This is telling me we should be at CVG in about 20 minutes, so that's probably a 10-minute buffer. And that's working off what I'm going to call some bad information anyway, so I think we're actually doing a little bit better even than that. You can see the little, we call it snowflake. This is our vertical speed, our VNAV. You can see we're pretty much right on profile for what this thing wants us to do. So, and that little bug right there tells you where it estimates you should have your vertical speed at. So we're, without even looking at it, I just did it instinctively, and it's right on the money. So it'll fluctuate a little bit. I don't care. It's mainly because our speed's increasing a bit here, so I'm going to pull the throttles back a little bit. The other thing we can do, just because I don't necessarily trust this, is that me hitting my... I think it is. I don't necessarily trust this. We can put this back onto manual and manually tune in the ILS. So I think I'm going to do that for 3.5 right. And then I'm going to put the CVG VOR on the number 2 because that is the other one we need for the missed approach. So 110.35. So I'm going to set this to manual. Let's go actually over here. 110.35. I'm going to set that. And then nav 2, I'm going to set the CVG VOR 117.3. Alright, so they are set. And then on the CVG VOR over here, I'm going to change the nav source to be... what's going on there? VOR 2, oh, it's not detecting again, that's fine, okay. It's the 59-degree radial. It's annoying though, it doesn't tell me what the course is. Okay, let's see, it's 60, so that's 240. So it should be about there, 59. Because it's not active, it's not showing me the course that I'm pulling, so I have no way of knowing other than looking at it, and of course it's pointing down here. I'll figure out the reverse. Okay, so that's good. And then over here, we'll set the course here in a moment, but I'm going to wait till we make this turn, because then we can go straight. So it's wanting us to set the changeover from transition altitude. So we're going to just do that and then select it again, because it's the same, 2992 in this case. It's a rarity, but it is what it is. So that's fine. Go ahead and zoom this in a bit. And as we go below 18,000 feet, let's go ahead and seat the passengers. So we'll go up to the seatbelt sign, and we hit our keystroke. And we should get a flight attendant call saying the captain's turned on the seatbelt sign. Maybe.
Ladies and gentlemen, the flight crew has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign.
There it is.
Please return to your seats and fasten your seatbelt.
What is it, 20 miles from Gavin? Yeah. So we're doing good. We're just about past 15,000. I'm going to go ahead and start slowing up a little bit here. So we'll go ahead and cut the idles to throttle. The throttles to idle. I'll let that slow down, and I'm going to select 250 on the speed for the reference. So I'm actually going to select 245. Just give me a little bit of a buffer so I'm not automatically violating the speed limit below 10,000. Going to be going into the clouds. And we're about to go into clouds, so we do want to make note of the temperatures. So static is -4. Even though the total air temperature is 11°C, we go off the that static temperature there, and so that is freezing moisture potential. So we're going to go over here to our anti-ice, and we're going to turn the wing and cowl anti-ice on. And those actually should have been on. I don't know how I missed that. That's not good. That's my probes. So we got the anti-ice on. That way we don't ice up the airplane. Don't want to do that. Alright, there's the last 1,000 feet before 10. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the landing lights.
We have begun our final descent into Kentucky. Flight attendants will be passing through the cabin to collect any trash one final time. Please ensure tray tables are stowed and seats are in the full upright position. Please also store any carry-on items either in the seat back pocket or under the seat cushion. Please complete all Wi-Fi related tasks and stow any larger electronics.
This is the important part to watch here, because we got to make sure we get our speed back up once we level off. At the same time, not too much speed or we will violate our speed restrictions. Just the right amount of speed. Alright, so remember we want to go about halfway between Kennedy and AJ, and then we're going to make a beeline for Lapper over there. So it's about 15 miles from AJ. So right now we're 35 from AJ. And at Lapper, we want to be at 4,000. So I'm kind of looking at this and planning. So we got about 20 miles here and probably about a little less than 20 there to Lapper. So we're probably going to start easing her on down here at this point once we pass Kennedy. Oh, we got a rainbow. We got a rainbow. So cool. Rainbow sighting. Alright, we're direct to AJ now, so let's go ahead and knock our altitude down to 4. Vertical speed. And we'll go do 1800 this time. Oh, rainbow right in front of us now. Rainbows everywhere! It's like a Lucky Charms commercial. Oh, look! There's the other side. Rainbow, rainbow. That's so cool. Oh my goodness, Microsoft. That is so cool. Alright, so we're going to go about 15 miles from AJ, and then we're going to go direct Lapper. That'll be the cutover point. And below 10,000, let's go ahead and turn on our reversers. So those guys are armed. It's technically armed or on. Not sure. Is it 20 miles? It's hard to see that. 22. Looking for 15. Oh, we got some rain. Visible moisture. So we still have our heats on, so that's good. And what's our temps now? 7 degrees C. Once this gets to 10, then we can turn the heats off. Lower the vertical rate and add a little bit of power. So I'm going to set 400 longer, 4,000 longer than I have to. Okay, let's go direct. Fine, we'll do it that way. Have it your way. That adds that little nonsense in there, but it's fine. I don't know why the next waypoint there is there, but not that one. It's kind of weird. as it kind of stabilizes us out here, we're going to align the heading to be on that course. And I'm going to put it in heading mode so I can switch the nav source over to localizer. And that way I can change the course to be correct here. So 006 is what I want right there. Now we can go back and actually, did I see it in that mode? No. Actually didn't move it. Did not. Okay. Alright, back to nav. Okay, we're approaching 4,000. We're just a little bit of more than 10 miles from Lapper. Start to slow down here a little bit. Alright, there's 4,000. Because we don't have any VNAV, until we capture the glide slope, we gotta kind of watch our descent. So after Lapper, we want to be at Troyf at 2,400. And that's also our final approach point. Not much to see at the moment. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the altitude to 24. That way all I have to do is roll the vertical speed. Because we're probably going to want to start to turn to intercept, because you notice while we're on a little bit of intercept heading, we're almost going perpendicular to this approach path because of the wind correction we're having to do. So make sure we don't miss it. And if we turn early, we're going to have to start descending too. So 4 miles to Lapper. Let's go ahead and go to maximum oh, breaking through the clouds a little bit. What's our temps doing? 13 static. Okay, so the any ice can come off. Let's start turning. Let's go into approach. And there's localizer. And I think we just captured the glide slope too. Let's go notch of flaps. Yep, Yoke and glide slope is green. try to get below 200 knots here. We can do another notch of flaps and put the gear out. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a shame handle here. Let's go flap 8. Gear down. Taxi light on. Cincinnati traffic. Endeavor 4635 CRJ 7 is on a 5-mile final, runway 35 right, Cincinnati. Another notch of flaps.
1,000.
Alright, autopilot's out. Take it from here. Slowing down.
400.
It's going to be a ding on the flight report.
300.
Sync rate.
200.
Sync rate.
100.
Sync rate.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Whoa, stay on the runway. Reversers out. Not one of my better landings.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kentucky.
I hate that you can't have full rudder authority because it will skew you around because it's tied to the nose wheel. I have a tiller, but it doesn't mean it still gives full nose wheel authority to the rudder, which is obnoxious. Alright, let's get the flaps up. Sure that's good. Let's turn the landing lights off. Strobes can come off. Let's get the APU. Alright, so we're going up to the first terminal here. So we're going to go this spot, this, I think we go in here? I think. APU, start please. Start yonder APU. Is the door open? Yeah, why isn't it? Okay, that should be starting. Oh, it is starting. Okay. Why the light wasn't coming on, I do not know. Alright, let's just pick a gate here. Any gate will do. Cincinnati traffic, Endeavor 4635 is clear of runway 35 right in Cincinnati. Alright, taxi lights can go off now. Entering the gate area. 10 minutes before our expected arrival time, according to PACX, so that's good. probably about right there. Go parking brake set. Good, let's stop the time. Perfect. Okay, there we go. That's on now. So we'll go. This can go off. Let's call for the jetway. Let's open the door. Set the chocks in place. Seatbelt off. And seatbelt off. And beacon off. Boost pumps can go off. Pitot heats can go off. Window heats can go off. Hydraulics are going off. And that's good. And we can also call for the ground power, wherever that nonsense guy is. Oh, there he is. You're just gonna sit there. You're gonna. It says removed. Now it says connected. Oh, there we go. We'll realistically wait till he's connected. We can turn our transponder off now. Oh, shut up. Stop beeping at me. This guy's going to make his 80-point turn. We'll disengage the nose wheel steering. So for the next guy, that's all set. Oh, come. I love that. He does all these little, like, fancy maneuvers trying to get in place, and then it just spins. Ridiculous. Alright, we got external power. We'll select that, and we'll go ahead and turn off the APU. That goes to in use. And we'll then turn off the AC, because there's no AC now. So that is done. That is powering down nicely. And that is the end of our flight. We have made it to Cincinnati. Welcome here. Was a interesting landing. I'm curious what this thing's going to say. So let's go ahead and submit flight, I think is what we do. Sure you want to submit this flight? Yes. I wonder if I could have read the flight report first. Flight has been submitted. Okay. I wonder where I can go back and hopefully I can read the flight report. Details. Score 92. Okay, so it wasn't 100, but I didn't expect it to be. Especially not with that landing. So let's see what we... Oh, the transpot. Alright, see, that's not supposed to be a fail. Transponder on. We had the transponder on for the taxi out, so that's wrong. So I don't know how that got missed. And then max pitch angle plus or minus 20 degrees. Where did we pitch more than 20 degrees? I don't remember that happening. That lost us 7 points, so 8 points total. Otherwise, everything else is a pass, though. I was expecting to get a landing light ping on that, but okay. Fair enough. Flight time, landing G-force 1.08. That's within spec. Landing rate minus 172. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest, but it was okay. Alright. That's cool that you get all these kind of flight parameters now. So you can see our altitude coming down, our true airspeed, ground speed. And indicated airspeed. Cool. You could print this if you want. That's funny. So we got 73 XP for that. And so if we close that, we can come over here and go to the dashboard. This is the new look for a pilot's life. through SimBitWorld, and we can see our 73.6 now and rank junior first officer. Our rating now is 92. It was 50. So we've increased our pilot rating. That's nice. I forget what was the max. Oh, it's out of 100, yeah. So we're almost to our top pilot rating. So we actually now in this category, we actually would qualify for a rank 3 airline. We're only qualified for a rank 2 originally, but I'm not going to abandon Endeavor immediately. I have to wait 7 days anyway, so it's kind of cool. It opens that possibility up as long as our pilot ranking remains strong. So that's cool. Dashboard. Just curious if it's the same airlines that are offering jobs at this point to me. Actually, I have no job offers, I guess, because I accepted and it has to be 7 days now. So cool. Okay. So that's a pilot's life. So our next flight is going back to LaGuardia, as can be figured. So you can see that there. Next flight 5374 back to LaGuardia. And if we look at our schedule for the next flights coming up, Cincinnati, LaGuardia. Next place we're going to go after that is LaGuardia to Bangor in Maine. And then back to LaGuardia. Then we have Raleigh, Durham. Back to LaGuardia. Then Norfolk. Back to LaGuardia. Buffalo, Niagara. Then back to LaGuardia. And that ends our schedule. These all say CRJ-9. I don't have the CRJ-9, so I'm flying these with the CRJ-7. You can substitute that aircraft in. When you go to your flight, you can go to change aircraft. And I can change it to any aircraft in the CRJ family because that's the license I purchased so far. So when you get this first, you want to go and grab some aircraft licenses, but they do cost. They cost, your virtual money. So you can't just buy them all. So I went and got the CRJ. I still have $8,000 in my bank. You start with 5, but because I had a Pilot's Life 1 and I had schedule, they granted me an extra 5. So that's what comes over. So I could get the some other ones, but that will affect, based on what the airline you're flying with operates. You got to be careful. So it's kind of a gamble, a little bit, taking what you do. But so anyway, but that's how that works. It's kind of cool. So we'll see how that goes. Endeavor's a 1-star airline. All right, well that is done. The flight was a success, I think. And so I will see you on the next one. Have a wonderful rest of whatever you're doing.